In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything.
Trust nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader. We are here on a beautiful What If Wednesday, and we've got a special guest tonight. We're super excited to have Colin Pape from Presearch. I'm super excited that you're here, Colin. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, Keeper, I'm great, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, we're super excited. It's great that you're coming on tonight. I was kind of talking to you a little bit before the show. We do What If Wednesday. For those of you that don't know, those of you just jumping in, What If Wednesdays are the days when we really dive into some real kind of more deep thinking topics and ideas in the crypto space, sometimes outside the crypto space, sometimes politically, sometimes not. And I think Presearch really ties in with that. So I'm interested to hear your explanation on what you guys do, what it looks like, and how it's going to help the people. So we're super excited. Crypto fam, make sure you guys smash the likes in the chat. Jump into the Discord. You know what time it is. I almost said January. July 30th. It's not January. July 30th. You know what time it is. It is the free mint. It is the stimulus drop. We've got that happening. So make sure you guys don't miss that. The website is dangerclosealpha.com. That should have all of the content that you need from there. And yeah, let's make sure that you guys get over there. Other than that, 545. Don't forget your boy, Frankie Candles. He's over on BitBoy Crypto Show. If you guys need some TA love, you know where to find him. So without further ado, let's dive in. I want to check out the market real quick, and then we will get into Presearch. 1 second here. Let's see what the market is doing. All right, so the cryptocurrency prices by market cap. The global market cap is $888.47 billion with a B dollars, up 2.24%. Hey guys, it's green. You can't complain. Bitcoin up over 20K. Miguel, what happened this morning, bro? We dropped down.
CPI numbers came out higher than expected. We had a massive drop to like 18,900, and now we've had a pump back up to 20,000.
Yeah, people like to. I think personally, it's the institutions, playing a little game with a little shorting action, and then pump it right back up. Yeah, you know what time it is. And then ETH at 1109, up 6.27%. My girl is killing it. We've got XRP all the way down to number 7 at 32 cents. Again, guys, in the bear market, you have to understand something. There are some random one-offs that are going to be different than this. But when Bitcoin's up a couple percent, you already know that the alts are going to be up maybe that or a little bit higher, right? When Bitcoin's down a couple percent, the alts are going to be down a couple percent or a little bit more. And that's just basically what we're going to see: up, down, up, down, up, down, small amounts. That's why we tell you DCA, DCA, DCA. Obviously, this is just for entertainment purposes only, but make sure that you guys are stacking them sats. Jason, I see you, brother. Good to see you, man. Jason's always been a big supporter of the show. Got a $9.99 super chat. Jason didn't even want to say anything. He just wanted to say, hey, just throwing some money your way. We love you, bro. We appreciate it. All right, cool. Let's dive into it. So, Colin, again, thank you for being here. Talk to me. Okay, so the website is called Presearch, Presearch. So let's assume that we have 22 kindergartners in here. Tell me what, in layman's terms and simple terms, what does Presearch do?
Yeah, so Presearch is a private, decentralized search engine. It's community-driven, so it's very much aligned with the community of users and supporters, and it rewards you with cryptocurrency pre-tokens as you search. Okay. The platform is powered by 70,000 user nodes, so it's not this centralized data center. It's distributing the infrastructure needs for the project across the 70,000 nodes that are being operated by people all over the world.
Wow, that's super cool. Miguel, I want you to jump in. I'll jump in on this. I know you were doing a couple things, but what kind of things do you see, Miguel, and obviously, Colin, I want to hear from you as well, but what kind of things have you and I talked about, Miguel, in relation to, let's just throw out there Google, right? Google's the big dog in terms of the centralization. What problems do we have with having a massive company, a massive centralized company like Google. Miguel, what do you see? And then Colin, I want to hear kind of what your take on that is and what maybe kind of some solutions look like to that.
The obvious problem is the centralization, right? The centralization of data, and the abuse that data can then be succumbed to by this company, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're collecting tons and tons of data on people, building tons of profiles on people, and targeting people with ads, propaganda, all kinds of stuff, manipulating data as the way they see fit, right? We've seen these kind of things happen. We saw the scandal with Cambridge Analytica with Facebook back in the day. And Google's involved with all these things. Google owns YouTube, so they're manipulating all types of search data all the time. The biggest search engine, the biggest streaming service or video content service, and it's all controlled by one company, right? So that's a huge problem, and that's why I think things like Presearch, where they're decentralized, need to come more into light, and people need to learn more about this.
Yeah, Colin, so Miguel said, the centralization, huge issue. I know you're going to agree with that, and as do I. How does decentralizing it take away some of the problems that we're seeing as far as, it's What If Wednesday. So my question is propaganda is definitely being pushed into our homes via our search queries. So how does a decentralized platform like Presearch fix a problem like that, or at least structure it definitely from a different standpoint?
Yeah, so I think, you guys hit on a lot of the high points. 92% market share is what Google has for search. Really, the number 2 search engine is actually YouTube. A lot of people go there using it like a search engine as well. They dominate all the other different ecosystems, whether it's Android or Chrome, the 2 largest operating systems and browsers. All these other, Gmail is 65% of all emails. And so there is this massive centralization, and it makes it very easy for that manipulation and that censorship to take place because we've kind of put all of our eggs in one basket. And really, I mean, Google certainly brought tremendous value to the world. I don't want to discount that. But when you look at how Google was founded, late 90s, early 2000s, there was this massive capital requirement because they had to have these servers and data centers and all these, really advanced engineers. And so they needed capital, and the capital came from venture capitalists. There's information out there that some of the capital came from alphabet agencies who certainly would have an interest in having access to all the different search queries, all the different profiles, and kind of links between all these different services and the people that are using them. And then ultimately, because it was funded by venture capitalists, they had a need to have an exit strategy, which became being a public company, which then put Google into the stock market. And obviously, that kind of value is determined based on profit, and profit is derived by really extracting value from the user base. And so they kind of have these different competing interests. You've got kind of the owners and the people that were the funders, and then you've got the people that are doing searches who just want access to open information and lots of it. And then you have the advertisers who are looking for cost-effective advertising. But ultimately, Google's trying to squeeze as many ad dollars as possible. Over $100 billion a year is coming from advertisers through their simple text ads. And then the searchers are really realizing that they're being profiled and tracked. And you search for something on Google, and then you're on another website, and something related to what you search for is now following you through all these different ecosystems, and it's creepy, right? And that's just the front end that you can see on the advertising front. So you can imagine what's going on behind the scenes. Presearch is different because we're aligned with our actual community of users. No outside capital, no venture capitalists. Okay. It's basically community funded by the people who have pre-purchased Presearch tokens through our crowd sale. Those tokens are then shared. That value that the searchers bring to the system is distributed out to those people that are searching in the form of rewards. And then the people who are advertising and kind of bringing demand to the token on the advertising side of things are obviously wanting the value as well of the token to maintain or increase. And so they don't want people to upset the community of searchers and that community of searchers to be out of alignment. So it kind of has this way of keeping everybody aligned together around this ecosystem. And we really
Checks and
see it.
balances. Yeah.
Yeah, we really see it being more kind of like a public good or a public utility. I mean, access to information is incredibly important. And we have seen, especially in kind of the post-COVID era, just the manipulation that's happening, fact checkers and all the other things. And ultimately, there's a narrative that's being spun by the powers that be, whoever they are, wherever they are, whatever they're, setting out to do.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that there's some type of agenda. And because Google is funded and they're in that whole Wall Street ecosystem, they're in that whole existing powers that be ecosystem, they're towing the line, and they're even if they don't want to, as the founders of the project, which is entirely possible, they kind of have a need to do it. And so we're looking to build something that ultimately is independent, aligned with the community, and something that ultimately promotes crypto and Web3. And is shifting that power away from those legacy systems into kind of this parallel economy and parallel world that we can build that is more decentralized, more freedom oriented. And we think that search can play a huge role in that momentum.
So we got a question here from the chat. Hazley Jane, one of our long-term followers, and she's basically saying, are you going to have anything similar like Google with the email, the convenience of an email and a one-click call? You guys are working on anything like that, or have any plans for that?
So kind of my early experience with Google, this was back in 2011 with my other company, Shop City, ran into just this weird scenario where Google has these conflicts of interest that are, product driven. They're promoting their own products at the expense of others. And so when we started Presearch and the early prototype for Presearch, which was built, late 2013, early 2014, was more about kind of being the Switzerland of search. And I think that part of that is not having a whole suite of different products that ultimately you're promoting at the expense of other competitors in the marketplace that might end up being better. That said, we want to enable different integrations, and we want to be more of an open ecosystem where if there's something like, what that person is looking for, click to call or click to email, maybe there's an ability to integrate and, open that up through an API or through some other type of open protocol so that many other people are able to participate.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. I'm really interested to see, as the crypto space, and not just the crypto space, but just Web3 as a whole continues to grow. Things are going to change. They have to change, right? And so it's all about what can this is my kind of philosophy. What can we do to bring value to the people? So I guess I have kind of two questions. One, there's a super chat. Just want to say, Crypto Billy, thank you for the super chat, brother. Billy wants to know, how do we get involved right now? I guess I'll let you answer that one first, and then I'll dive into the other question. If somebody wants to get involved with Presearch, what's the best way for them to do it?
So if you go to presearch.com, you can create an account. Then as you start searching, you'll begin earning fractions of a pre-token. If you go to nodes.presearch.com, you can learn all about how to provide the infrastructure for the project and be rewarded for providing computing resources that the project can utilize. Presearch tokens are kind of at the heart of it all. And so, that's a way as well. And then on social media, twitter.com/presearch news, Telegram, t.me/presearch. Those are kind of some of the best channels.
We'll make sure to drop, I need to get a few of those links. We'll make sure to put them down below the video. So stand by, guys. After the video, we will make sure to ask or to put that in there. And I just want to make something clear to everybody. This is not a paid promo tonight. Colin is a friend of the show, so we brought him on. We believe in what Presearch is doing. I think you guys know us well enough to know if we were doing a paid promo, you would know it. So I just wanted to make that clear to everybody. We love what Presearch is doing. And if you've watched us for more than a day, this is right on our highway. So, one of the problems that I see, Colin, is that we're vulnerable in terms of our search queries, right? Mm-hmm. As I started to think about it when you were coming on tonight, I was thinking about it on my drive home. And I'm driving home and I'm thinking, okay, like I get on Google and I search something. Let's just say, right, I'm gonna not go too far into this, but let's just say I search for the safety or efficacy of something. I don't know what it may be, but I search for it, right? And everything that comes up, because it is filtered through that centralized entity, everything comes up and says, hey, this is safe. This is absolutely safe. There's nothing to be nothing to fear. There's no data to say any different. And you go through multiple pages of whatever we may be talking about that says, hey, this is safe. This is good for you. Well, guess what? If you don't know any better, you believe that you are signing on and just asking a computer to make to answer a fundamental question and give you, the results. I don't think that's what's happening. And so what are we, as we decentralize this, right? How, because we need to fix that, right? That's a freaking problem that creates an agenda that manipulates people. How do we get to the point, or how does the Presearch search engine take that factor out? I know the centralization isn't there, but sorry about that. I know the centralization isn't there, but what does it solve as it relates to protecting the people?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we're super vulnerable. We're placing so much trust. Love it, man.
This is she comes on every night. This is the sponsor of the show, i.e. the mascot. Say hi, Addie. You want to say hi? You gonna wave? Yeah. Hi. All right, I love you. Mwah.
So fun, man. Great age.
She's 13 months old. She's started walking, and she's all over the place for sure.
That's so
and Miguel.
cool.
Hey, Miguel, don't let Miguel's over there beaming. He's got a beautiful daughter too. His daughter needs to come on the show more often. You need to bring her on more often, Miguel.
Yeah, dude, she usually sleeps right through the show. That's why it's quiet. If not, you'd be hearing a lot of different noises.
You'd be hearing a lot of the crying that was going on with her. Yeah. So so sorry about that, Colin. So how does Presearch protect us from some of those issues that ultimately we run into on a daily basis?
Yeah, no, and that's awesome, man. Honestly, everybody says time flies, and enjoy these moments. My little guy's 9 now, and I remember when he was that age, and honestly, it's gone by in a blink. So yeah, I love that you guys are, family guys, and
for sure.
Kind of tying it all together, and that I think is, some of the values, truthfully, of Presearch and of the crypto community, and just trying to have really not this corporate separation of everything where, we're using things that aren't aligned with our values, and we're doing these things that ultimately are conflicting with our health, as you're talking about, or, our wealth or our freedom. And it's something that I'm hoping, Web3 can really facilitate more of like an integrated model for life. And yeah, it makes us, search is something that can I heard somebody say something that, people tell Google things that they don't tell their spouses or their preachers or, anybody else in their lives. And it's a tremendously trusted kind of position. And yet, they talk about it like it's just algorithms, and they talk about it like there's huge opportunity for, that manipulation, as you mentioned. And ultimately, Presearch is pragmatically kind of taking steps towards ultimate decentralization and full independence. And so, to start, we're relying on existing search engines, databases, APIs, while we build out our own fully independent index. And ultimately, really this model where community members can, through open source technology, really validate and verify everything for themselves. And where, that manipulation that might be happening is either, more transparent, because to say that there's no bias, I mean, there's always going to be some type of bias. Yeah. There's always going to be some type of agenda. They make it seem with Google like, oh, no, it's just the facts. Well, who determines facts, right? And what is that process? And so ultimately, we see kind of a way where there could be different kind of views on Presearch. So, my heart is really with the freedom aspect of this. And that's why, Rice is one of my favorite guys. And, we do our videos every Friday, and like I love that guy, and how we got connected was because his values that he was putting out there drew me to him, and I wanted to see if there were ways that we could work together. And so that's kind of what we've been doing, with Project Resources, as far as, marketing and go to market, trying to connect with the freedom community, because that's really, super important to me. But ultimately, over the life of Presearch, there might be other kind of biases or ways that people might want to have the set of defaults, because ultimately there can be different sets of defaults, which is something that, maybe you're coming at this from, hey, you're a total statist and you just want to know all the statist information. There could be a kind of a view or a filter on Presearch that gives you all that information, so that everything is coming from .gov sites or whatever. And then, the default, what I'm hoping is one that's promoting more freedom and decentralization and Web3 and ownership and self-sovereignty. But, I think the way ultimately to overcome it is to build less of like a vanilla search engine that everybody just gets vanilla, and really provide more of a framework where people can plug in and kind of build their own different flavors, promote those flavors out, have it be known to people, hey, this is strawberry, this is chocolate, this is banana, this is some friggin' whack flavor, whatever it is. But that that's kind of what you're getting when you're coming into that set of information, and that, those kind of different factors are more transparent. And so, we got a ways to go to like fully realize that vision. But in the meantime, we're skewing to freedom, and we're looking at, things like those query types that you mentioned, and trying to basically ensure that it's as, open as far as that information set goes, and that, different views are not being totally suppressed, like what is happening, unfortunately, with Google's default search results. And there's kind of an algorithm that's happening on the back end to try to do that across these different data sets that we're harmonizing right now. But ultimately, it's up to the community to help curate that information. And hey, if there's a great resource and the community can vote it up and stake for that result to have more weight within the default results, then that's a way that we can kind of overcome bias and manipulation. Right now, a lot of people are actually doing it kind of as individuals through the advertising platform, because it's using this keyword staking model where there's no actual cost when people click on your links. And so we've got people that are like, hey, that term that you talked about, the health one, is BS, and I'm going to stake something that's, a more alternative viewpoint on that. And then people are getting exposed to it that way.
Just real quick, Miguel, I know you had a question, but I wanted to, Billy, longtime supporter of the channel, wants to know if you've got a second division hat for you. I thought wow. I literally thought, never mind, forget it. I thought he was asking about the hat that you had on. Forget it. Billy, I'll hit you up later. My bad. I literally thought he was asking about the hat that you had on. Never mind. Just forget. We'll clip that out of the live. Oh, wait, it's live. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead, Miguel.
No, so what I was gonna say was, so your ultimate goal with Presearch is to allow other people to come in and use your software to build their own search engines with whatever flavor of, whether you want to call it a bias or focus to be. So it's kind of like mini search engines for specific topics or specific kind of ideas or whatever it is. Is that like the ultimate goal?
Yeah, that's something that's kind of coming sooner rather than later, and we're calling it just internally right now community search engines. And so it could be somebody who's got a specific interest or a niche, or it could be a local community, geographically based, or it could be based around an influencer or somebody who's got some type of audience who can basically come in and curate that set of defaults, make it available to their community, have it so that as their community comes in and signs up kind of through them, they earn a percentage of the rewards that their entire community generates, which gives them kind of that incentive. and where they're basically making known transparently, hey, here's kind of the focus of this, here's the bias, here's the slant on this view. And then as a Presearch user, you can choose the default Presearch defaults, or it could be the debate crypto version, or any of the other spectrums. And we think it's more like aligned with the U.S. Republic model, honestly. Like, so you've kind of got this like federation of using that basic technology platform, but then you've got these other kind of little mini republics where they have different values, they have different it could be different UIs, it could be lots of different customizations. And then as you come in, because like right now Google is like vanilla search for everybody. It's all the same, except they're doing this passive personalization where they're tracking you, and they're serving you up content according to what they think is going to be most monetizable and basically most addicting and bring you back for more. And it's being done in a way where like people don't even know that it's happening. And it could be like, hey, let's say you're this super overweight person and you're trying to like get healthy information, but your inherent bias is you're clicking on all these junk food things. Well, they're going to keep serving you up more junk food when maybe like what your actual values are is you want health. And so that's hopefully what you could do through more active personalization. Hey, I'm joining the health view. It gets rid of all those different garbage results, and it's focused on these results. Wow. And just kind of aligns more with your value.
And are you guys doing anything for like privacy settings, kind of like for people not to have their data collected, just to keep things kind of more of anonymous, more kind of a VPN style kind of? Are you guys doing anything like that inside your search engine?
You read my mind, Miguel.
Or plan to in the future?
Yep. So I mean, right now it's private in that we don't store your queries. We're not building any type of profile around you. Ultimately there is potential to have more of like a full proxy type service. So like as you're visiting websites, it's actually proxying those through your web browser through Presearch. That's not in place currently, but basically all the results that are being served directly on the presearch.com domain are private. And ultimately there might be a model where for us by default that's how it is, but it might be that, hey, you could choose to share information and then monetize your whatever information you chose to share. But for now by default it's very private. And those search queries are not associated with you in any way.
Just to be clear, I just
wanted to quickly tell people, if anybody's looking for the Discord for more information on Presearch, one of our community members actually shared Presearch's Discord in our Discord, so you can find the link there and jump on over to their Discord.
Definitely jump into you should be in our Discord anyway, but then you can get over to Presearch too, so it's a win-win right there. He was asking about your hat. He was asking if it was a 2nd Infantry Division hat, which is what I thought he was asking, and then I got sidetracked. What's the hat that you have on, Colin?
Oh, my hat. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I think it probably is actually. If you go to, I think the brand is Red Canoe. It's like
okay. So it's just it's a fashion hat, but okay.
It is. Yeah. It's like a U.S. Texan kind of style. Yeah. I mean, I'm Canadian for better or worse. I mean, honestly, I feel like kind of an honorary American because I'm very aligned with your values, and but yeah, I'm based in Canada, and gotcha. It's been super weird up here for the past 2.5 years. So
it's funny that you say that, because that actually brings me into my next question. So with what you're doing, you have to have a massive company like, so let's say that Presearch continues to grow the way that we believe that it's going to. You have to have some awareness to the fact that these other search like Google, right? Let's say right now they're like, I mean, compared to what whatever, right? But if people continue to push the way that I feel like they are starting, people are starting to wake up. We have an NFT project called Danger Close Alpha, and we're basically bringing the prepper community together with the
Mhm.
crypto community. Okay.
Perfect.
So we're trying to
Awesome.
get people to understand that, hey, like life is not, all rainbows and butterflies, right? And
Yep.
if nothing else, you need to have your family prepared. And
Yes.
so I'm not going to dive into all that, but what I'm getting at is I would have to believe that you see the possibility that you might start getting some pushback. Do you feel that that's going to be like, do you feel that as a concern, and or do you feel like, hey, you know what, it's going to be so decentralized at the point that it continues to build out, it's not even going to matter, it's going to be like almost like a Bitcoin, like what are you going to attack, because ultimately the information's there, it's being fed through, or is there a lot of like, or somebody else was asking, like, are you running it through your own banks of servers, or are they being spread out as well there? Like, just kind of, are you concerned about anything like that?
Oh yeah, 100% concerned, and feel like that, ultimately over time, as it grows, the user base, and as the kind of uptake of the project increases, and it's certainly going to be a challenge. And what I kind of view myself as like the steward of the project, and one of my key focuses has been, as few connections with that legacy system as possible in the meantime, until it hits that Bitcoin status, which is really, we are hoping it can be like the Bitcoin of search,
Yeah.
and be fully decentralized and unstoppable. But ultimately, right now the internet, and especially because the way that the project works, like Bitcoin actually has a bit of an easier job because it's like a totally independent network. With search, you're basically kind of bridging like that legacy Web 2 world where everything is hosted on centralized servers. It's using a domain name system, that's powered by ICANN, which is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, which is ultimately tied back to kind of DARPA and the United Nations and all these different groups that may have different views on what the future should look like than many of the people who are watching your show and who are using Presearch. So we're kind of trying to take, again, that pragmatic approach where it's like a step and a step and a step towards that ultimate state. And what I'm hoping ultimately is that we end up with a world, and I don't know how familiar you are with Starlink, and I still don't really know what to think about Elon, honestly. Like,
Yeah, he's a question mark for me.
Yeah.
I really hope he's a good guy. Like, if he's a good guy and he is really oriented to freedom, then Starlink could be, it's an alternate internet, honestly, and you could have a mesh network platform that would be an alternative to DARPANet. And
Right.
I think there's different ways that can happen as well, with more regionalized mesh networks, and different kind of like relays out to the broader internet. But ultimately, yeah, Presearch needs to be able to kind of plug into that world where maybe there's a localized server that's being run by a local prepper group that is ensuring that we've got information online. I mean, where I am in this building, like, we run a mesh network in the downtown of our little town. We've got antenna on the roof that are broadcasting up and down the main street, and then we've got relays that are out in all these different storefronts. And right now we're just covering a downtown area, but ultimately that could be expanded out to a broader community. And there are different ways that you could have repositories of information that are accessible locally, so that in the event that something happens to the grid, or I could see certainly a world where hey, you need your UNID in order to log onto the internet to access this information, right? And we need to have these alternatives that are oriented to privacy and personal freedom. And I think there's lots of ways that it could happen. But yeah, definitely, I think about that. How can Presearch play a role there? And to start, it's been fairly low key, and haven't really had that kind of challenge be presented yet, but I think as it grows, yeah, it's certainly going to happen. And my hope is that by the time it becomes a real issue, it's like, unstoppable. And we've kind of figured out all those different layers to start. It's like, yeah, we basically put out in our original white paper in 2017, hey, we're going to leverage big tech against itself. We're going to use these different services to get that kind of, uptake and build that early momentum for the project. And then we'll start basically looking at all the things and, well, how can we decentralize this and that and that? And so we had the thing that's now running on 70,000 plus user nodes was running on, centralized servers. And then we've decentralized that. The next layer is like our node gateways, which are running on centralized servers, which ultimately will be decentralized. And then, it's like setting up a decentralized web crawler, decentralized data storage.
These are all value propositions too. It's all different value propositions that you're offering via the search engine, which to most people, I think they would think it's a really simple idea.
Yeah.
But again, it is dishing out just all the information that you could, any question you ask, you're getting dished and answered. So think about, and this is what I want, I'm not thinking Miguel was getting ready to say something, but one of the things that I think about is if you ask me a certain set of questions, and then I turn around and I ask my mom the same set of questions, right? And we're both giving the answer and where to find that information. Well, my mom might have a totally different set of places where she's finding the information, a set of viewpoints, things that she believes. There's still all of that going on. So I like the idea that you're trying to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we can get it to the point where people are able to almost customize and structure kind of, hey, here's kind of my theme, here's my ethos, so to speak, and then press forward from there. I think that's super cool. Miguel, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, dude. What I was gonna say was earlier we were speaking about Elon Musk, right? I think I would believe that he would be a good guy and that he has the interests of the people and freedom if his companies weren't so highly connected with government subsidies, right? His entire
you're talking like the credits, like energy credits,
the credits, and that not just for Tesla, but for a lot of his companies, they're all based on this, like, subsidies from the government one way or another to sustain, because his companies don't really make money just yet. And they're sustaining technologies, or they're creating technologies that highly benefit the government if you think about it in a twisted way, right? We're talking about Neuralink, we're talking about Starlink, we're literally having satellites around the entire world looking at everything. Everyone in the entire world is now connecting to Starlink, which they could be collecting data from, right? And then the government, FBI, always have a back door to these companies and to get information from. So there's a lot of different things, from Neuralink all the way to Starlink to Tesla, self-driving vehicles, and we're talking about data collection. All his companies are data collection companies, one way or another. And who is he going to give that information to?
Yep. It's going to be really interesting to kind of see how it plays out, if and totally. I mean, I think we kind of need to assume that is the case, and that's kind of the prepare for the worst and then hope for the best. And if it's, like I've got a weird theory that honestly Elon is Satoshi, actually. And
what?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We could have some really interesting conversations about that. And I haven't really been talking about it too much, but I've been trying to figure that out. And like, yeah, I believe that he is. And so if, maybe he is actually a good guy and he may have realized what this agenda kind of presented, and well, how would you potentially get around it? Well, we need a decentralized currency, and I would suggest everybody watches his interview from December 28th, 2021 with Lex Friedman, where he talks about Bitcoin and talks about decentralized currency, talks about decentralized governance, and then
wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah. But ultimately, like, so okay, if you're going to create a currency like Bitcoin that's going to empower the people, but it runs on the internet. Well, then that's the choke point, and that's where the powers that be could ultimately, throttle Bitcoin. Well, then how would you get around it? Well, you would need a new internet. Well, how would you create a new internet? Well, you'd have to create a network of satellites, because there's no way you're running cables everywhere.
You should have told us this before the show. We could have just talked about Presearch and then dove into what if Elon's Satoshi. We're gonna listen. We're gonna bring you back on for that specifically. I don't want to dive into it right now, just because we're already 40 minutes into the show. We're getting close, but we need to bring you back on for what if Elon is Satoshi. That would be fantastic. So this is the open invite, 100%. Guys. We're going to bring you back on for that one. I really think that's going to be fun. Well, let me ask you this. As we kind of wrap things up here, we love what you're doing. We think that it's got the opportunity to be something larger than life. We definitely feel like we need it. The problems that are posed as per the centralization of these search engines, the information that's coming through your home. I've been talking about it a lot lately, but ever since the Obama administration, they took away the laws that said, hey, you can't push propaganda into the homes. Now that's happening. And so we are rooting for you for sure. I know we asked earlier how to get involved. Is there anything right now that is probably maybe that's just a simple thing that people just jump on and just start using Presearch, or do they need to purchase tokens to get involved?
No, don't need to purchase to get involved. Go on to presearch.com. You can create an account. If you create an account, then you start earning pre-tokens, and you can kind of customize. We have basically this multi-search interface where you can choose all these different search engines and add your own. And it's just kind of an easy way to direct your query into different resources. But if you don't create an account, you can just use it as a private search engine, basically. And yeah, I mean, if you want to participate in the infrastructure and run a node, then yes, there's a requirement to have tokens, right? But not as somebody who's using it or referring other people into it.
That's super sweet. I like it. I'm gonna have to. Awesome. I'm gonna have to dive further into it, because I am I hate what comes through on my freaking Google. It's just annoying. So I'm really rooting for you guys. Well, Colin, thank you very much for coming on. It has been nothing but a pleasure. You have been a pleasure to talk to. We are definitely rooting for you. We know you're going to be successful. We will have you back on for another What If Wednesday. We are going to talk about what you just said. I love it. You've sparked my interest. I want to talk about it. What if, guys, Satoshi is Elon Musk? That'll be an interesting one to have. So, Crypto Fam, we appreciate you all for being here. You could be anywhere tonight on this Wednesday evening, but you are here with Debate Crypto. So don't forget, we love you guys. Question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl
like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.
Everyone.